Hello and welcome to the programme. Well, the US military has pulled out of Afghanistan's Bagram air base, the epicenter of its war to topple the Taliban and hunt down al-Qaeda after the 9/11 attacks. But as one era of brutal conflict ends in Afghanistan, another one is looming. Afghan forces now control Bagram. US President Joe Biden had set a September 11th deadline for a full withdrawal and says the pullout is on track. Just 650 troops will remain to protect the US embassy in the capital, Kabul. But in a sign of the chaos that could follow, officials say dozens of people stormed and looted the complex after the Americans left overnight without informing local troops. Most NATO allies have also left quietly, a stark contrast to the show of force when they first arrived. The Taliban has thanked the US for leaving and fulfilling their side of the agreement. But on the ground, they are locked in a brutal turf war with Afghan forces. They now control more than 100 districts across 20 provinces, which you can see in red. America's top general is saying that a civil war is now possible. Osama bin Javed reports.
A formidable fortress for 2 decades, where hundreds of millions of dollars have been spent, now looks like a junkyard. This is Bagram, a military airbase in Parwan province, which has been a lifeline for US-led coalition troops in Afghanistan. Early on Friday, all remaining foreign troops left the facility for the first time since the 2001 invasion.
American forces left Bagram Air Base last night without any coordination with relevant administrations. This has not been officially reported to us, but from the ground we get this information from the situation in the area, as several looters, opportunists and others stormed Bagram airfield.
As part of last year's deal between the US and the Taliban, all foreign forces are to leave Afghanistan. The Taliban has welcomed the withdrawal from Bagram, but says the pullout isn't complete.
We hope the conclusion of withdrawal of all foreign forces and American forces from Afghanistan will pave the way for the intra-Afghan negotiation to expedite and find a peaceful solution to the Afghan issue as soon as possible.
People in Kabul have shown cautious optimism now that the Taliban's so-called war against foreign occupation will be over. The Biden administration is poised to complete the full withdrawal soon, leaving behind some troops to guard its embassy and the airport.
The Afghan people might face a huge tragedy, which will have a negative impact on the United States as well, because they were here for 20 years, and during these 20 years they suffered financially and in blood. They lost their lives and spent their money, so they must leave this country with better achievements.
Built by the former Soviet Union in the 1950s, the sprawling base has expanded to 30 square kilometers since the US invasion. Once a symbol for the US to avenge the September 11 attacks, Bagram and its adjacent jail became a notorious hub for abuse. Tens of thousands of people were detained, many tortured and extradited to Guantanamo Bay prison from Bagram. Although the US handed over Parwan prison to Afghan government in 2013, Human Rights Watch says its legacy of torture still continues.
Wherever I hear the name of Bagram, I recall the screams of innocent people and the pain of children and elderly men who were there.
But it was an effective staging area for the coalition, which once swelled up to more than 100,000 soldiers. To avoid hardware falling to the Taliban, US forces say they've destroyed nearly 15,000 pieces of equipment and flown out more than 700 fully loaded C-17 transport aircraft out of Afghanistan. After the US and its coalition allies spent 20 years at war, funded it with trillions of dollars and lost thousands of lives, the Taliban remains undefeated and on the offensive. Many are wondering, what was the point?